Okay, I think we're live. Hi, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Hi. So I am Michelle Solis from This Must Be Ink. I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. Welcome to my Stampin' Sip workshop. It is Friday night, September 12th already. September's flying by already. September 12th. And yeah, thanks for coming to my Stamp and Sip workshop where the weekend starts early. So I don't always stamp on a Friday night, but when I do, I am stamping and sipping with all of you. So let's just grab whatever we brought and take a sip. Tonight, I am drinking some wine from one of my favorite wineries. It's called Copp Winery, COPP, and it is in Florida. So when I go down to visit Florida, I always stop in here and buy some wine. This one is called Flippin' Out, and it has a little dolphin on the label. I thought it was really cute, and it tastes good. So cheers. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So tonight we're going to be using this Love and Courage stamp set. This is a giving back stamp set from Stampin' Up! It is in the new mini catalog that just came out for holiday, and it is one of their Making a Difference stamps. So a portion of the proceeds from this stamp will be donated to breast cancer organizations. All right, so let us turn the camera down here and look at what we're going to do. Okay. All right, let me get this light on. That light is so bright, I can't have it on while I'm talking. Shines right in my face. All right, hopefully that's good. All right, hopefully that's good. All right, so this is the stamp set, Love and Courage. It comes with this really nice image right here with the sunflower and this saying, support, strength, heart, faith, resolve, fight, hope, courage, survivor, and believe. And then it also comes with this little ribbon image and a heart. It's okay not to be okay. Then there's a stamp, friends don't let friends fight cancer alone. Thank you for supporting me throughout my battle. Love and hope. So the sentiments I think are awesome for obviously for the cause for breast cancer or any type of cancer, but it's also I think a great set to do some other things with. So I'm going to show you some different samples tonight of things that I have created. Okay, so you can find this set on page 4 in the mini catalog. It is $25 and it comes with those 8 stamps. And as I said, I think it's $3 from every stamp sale goes to breast cancer organizations. Okay, so this is the card that I did tonight. This is cased. Oh, I just put the catalog away. This is cased right out of the catalog. I love to start with that when I've got a new stamp set. I like to look and see what they did with it, and I always like to case their card. So I don't know if you can see this one. Mine's a little bit different. My background is a little larger. I did my mat a little bit larger, and I didn't use these colors. I used Petal Pink. This is Petal Pink in the background, and Flirty Flamingo, where they did Pretty in Pink and Strawberry Slush. And that's the color combination that we're going to do tonight. Okay, so that's where I got the idea for this card. And this is the one that we're going to recreate tonight. But I'm going to talk to you about some different techniques in using this stamp. Okay, so for this card, what I've done, I've already cut out my circle just to be quick for tonight. So my circle was cut out with the largest circle die from the Stylish Shapes dies. So I used that and I cut a circle out of the Pretty in Pink and then the same size circle out of the Strawberry Slush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this image in Strawberry Slush on the Pretty in Pink label. That's the first step. So we're going to ink this up. And line it up. Why does it look like it's not inked here? Okay. All right. Now we're going to line this up. Now, normally I would stamp this and then line it up. But on this occasion, I'm just going to stamp it right onto this sentiment label. And the only part that I really have to worry about is the sentiment, because this is going to get covered up. The other side is going to get covered up. So there's our sentiment. Then we're going to stamp again on another piece of Pretty in Pink. So we're going to ink that up. And this time, I really want to pay attention to the flower, the sunflower side. And just make sure I get a good image with the sunflower. Okay, there we go. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this Strawberry Slush circle in half. And to do that, I'm going to get my trimmer. If I did it with my scissors, I would definitely not do it straight. So I'm going to just line this up in my trimmer. And at where it seems like it's half, right up to the top there. And then I'm going to just cut that in half. Okay. So that is what's going to go on here. It probably could be a little bit smaller. And let me see if this side is a little smaller. And I've got some shaggy stuff hanging off there. Okay. See, yep, this one's a little bit smaller. Okay, we're going to use this side. Okay, that's going to be our label. And then what we want to do is we want to get our sunflower. So the sunflower, we're just going to fussy cut. So I'm going to cut that right down the middle here. And then just fussy cut this out. And just get all those little petals. And just back and forth with your image. Try to keep your scissors still and just rotate your cardstock. And just get as much of the Pretty in Pink out from between the petals as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want some of those petals kind of sticking out. So we do want to cut down in between the petals. And I think you just get a nicer visual that way. Okay, just a couple more to do here. And there we go. Okay, so now that we've got that cut out, we can put that will mount right here on top of this strawberry slush piece. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to use some liquid glue. To put our half circle on. And just try to line that up. And then we will do some more liquid glue for our sunflower. And line that up as well, right to the edge of that circle or half circle. Okay, so that's our little focal point. All right, so for our card, I've used a basic white thick card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And then my designer series paper, this is a piece from Wildflower Birthday, and it's 3.5 by 5 is my mat that's going to go on the front here. So we're just going to adhere that. And just center it in on your card front. Okay, so I think I need a glue dot. And then we're going to just use a glue dot to get our ribbon on here. So I'm using a strawberry slush ribbon. And I just want to loop it like this behind my sentiment. That's going to go here, and my sentiment piece or my focal piece will go on top. So actually, I'm not going to use a glue dot. I'm just going to use an old-fashioned piece of Scotch tape to get my ribbon on here. So I think I want it to be right about there. Coming this way. And we'll just make that go right there. And then we're going to mount that just like that. And then we can trim off our ends. So we're going to just do that with some dimensionals. Pop that up. Okay, and we'll just get this on. There we go. And then we just need to trim our little ends here. And you've got your ribbon on there. And then we're going to do some little bling. These are the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. So this obviously has that strawberry slush color. So we're going to use these tonight. And then I'm going to show you how I stamped and created that love you sentiment. So there's our bling. Okay, well, you'll notice that there is no sentiment that says love you in the set. There's just the love and there's thank you. And so I combined these two as they did in the catalog to create the sentiment love you. So I'm going to emboss that tonight as they did to get it to be gold. And so I'm going to be using some Versamark. And we just want to make sure that we are using our embossing buddy to get any static off of our card stock so that we get a nice clean stamp there. Okay, so I'm going to start with the U and line that up, and then I can line up the love on top of that. So what I've done, the U in this stamp is far enough away from the thank so that I can just ink that. So I just brought my Versamark to my ink, to my stamp, and just inked up the U word with the corner of the ink pad. Okay. Then I'm going to stamp that onto my paper. And I know you can't see it, but I can see it. Then I'm going to take my love stamp and I'm going to line that up right on top of that love. Right on top of that U. So you can't see it, but you're going to see it as soon as I do the embossing powder. All right, so we're going to do this in some gold. And just get, oh, that lined up pretty well. It's a little close there, but I think that that's going to be good enough. Okay, so we're going to just set this embossing powder aside. And let's get our gun, our heat gun. And we're just going to heat that. Okay. And then we've got our love you sentiment. So what I did then was I also fussy cut that and just went around the sentiment. Just to make it smaller so that it didn't take up the entire space there and cover up the rest of the sentiments from the stamp. So we're just going to fussy cut that. Okay. All right. So we've got that, and that then can go right on the front there with dimensional. I thought I just took the top of the dimensional, but there we go. All right, and we'll just get that right on there. So there you have it. That's how that card was created in order to get the sunflower here in the opposite colors, and then how to do the little love you sentiment. Okay, so let's put that aside, and I'm going to show you some other cards that I did. So of course I thought it was would be such a great idea to combine this stamp. Hi there, Cynthia. To combine this stamp with the sunflower embossing folder. So I did this card where I embossed the piece of white, basic white paper with the sunflower embossing folder. Oh, I'm sorry. I stamped it first and then embossed. So we stamped the stamp here and then embossed it and then just put some little gems on. So again, this is strawberry slush. So what I did was just tried to cover up one of the sunflowers in the embossing folder with that stamp. So it almost fit perfectly on that sunflower there. So that's that card. Then I did this one. That's a two-tone. So this is Pretty in Pink and Early Espresso with that stamp. So I'm going to show you tonight how to do this as well, how to get two colors in there. Of course, you could stamp it and you could just color this with blends. But I'm going to show you how I did this stamp. All right, let me get just a piece of paper here. What I did was I used a sponge dauber. So let me clean this off first. And you could do this with any color. I just happened to pick Pretty in Pink. But let's see, let's do it in curry tonight. So what we did, we inked up our stamp. Then we're going to take the Early Espresso stamp pad, and I'm going to just dip my sponge dauber, pick up some color from my Early Espresso stamp pad, and I'm going to just try to get it right in the center here. And add some of that brown without getting it on anything else. It's not super easy, but I think it's worth the effort. Oh, I got some on the letters there. All right, so let's stamp and see what it looks like. Looks like I might have gotten some little bit on the letters there. Let's see. There we go. So not too bad. There's a tiny bit of brown on the letters there, but not too bad. If you just go in very gingerly with your sponge dauber, you'll get some color there in the middle of your sunflower. And what I liked about using the sponge dauber as opposed to the blends is that you still get the little white dots there, if you can see them. That is the detail in the stamp. So there you go. So that's how I did that image for that card. And then I'm going to put this aside because I'm going to use that on something that looks beautiful. All right, so then there's this card. Again, I used the sunflower embossing folder, this time with an Early Espresso cardstock. And then I stamped the sunflower twice and just flipped it over so that I would get a full sunflower. So let me show you how I did that. All right, so we'll use a different piece here. We clean this off. So this is a little tricky, and you'll see that that's why I used this ribbon in the middle, because I didn't do it exactly perfect. It's a little tricky to It's a little tricky to line up. So again, I just want to do half of my stamp. So I'm going to use my stamp pad to just get ink on half of my stamp. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, sorry. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp that. I'm just going to make sure I didn't get any ink on my letters. Stamp that. We missed a little spot there, but that's all right. And then we're going to ink it up again. So again, we're going to just take our ink pad and try to do just half of your stamp onto the sunflower image. And if you do get some ink on the letters, you can just go with your finger or with a rag and just get that ink off of there. Okay, now the trick is to line this up with this image. Your stamp, my stamp anyway, the flower is pretty close to the image on the front. So we just want to make sure that we think we're close enough and overlapping and set down our stamp. Oh, close, but not close enough. So then that's why I had the ribbon. So what I did then was trimmed around the image and I put a ribbon here so it looks like it's a full flower. And then I just added my sentiment. So with practice, this is closer than I got last time. So with practice, I think you'd be able to get it exactly right. Okay, we're going to set that aside. That sentiment came from Spotlight on Nature, Dear Friend. That's where we got that one. Okay. All right. So then I also wanted to use some of the little images in the stamp set. So I created this card using this little heart. I just did that in a bunch of bright colors and just alternated the hearts across the page. Then I used a little piece of Gorgeous Grape Designer Series paper and then a little strip of another Designer Series paper. This came from Painted Lavender, and I think this came from the Cheers and Sips Designer Series paper. And then I die cut a heart and did the Love You, like you saw on the original card that we did tonight. So that's using the little heart. And then I made a card with the ribbons. So that ribbon image here. As you know, the different color ribbons can signify different types of cancer, but they also use ribbons for a lot of different causes. So there's mental health uses a ribbon. Alzheimer's, of course, uses the purple ribbon. There's autism, AIDS, epilepsy. The Heart Association uses a red ribbon. So the ribbon can be used for a lot of different things. This one I did a teal for my friend Sharon's mom. This is ovarian cancer. The pink is for breast cancer. The blue is for colon cancer. And then the purple is actually for all cancers. It's just a general cancer ribbon. So this one was created with I'm going to forget the name of the paper. Yep, right out of my brain. One of the floral papers in the annual catalog. I fussy cut some floral images and then just put them on the front of the card and then just stamped my sentiment with Friends Don't Let Friends Fight Cancer Alone on there and just layered that on top of the floral images. So there you go. So there are some different cards that I've made with this stamp set, and I hope that you guys can see the value in the stamp set. Even if you just buy it for the sunflower alone, I think it's an awesome set. All right, so here's a bunch of sunflower cards. You can let me know which one's your favorite. And then the one with the hearts and the one with the ribbons. All right. So that's it for us tonight. Let me get out of here. Turn this off. That light is so bright. My goodness gracious. Okay, so that's it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hi, Maria. Hi, Carol. I missed you guys when you came in. Sorry. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And everybody have a lovely weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful weather. Hi, Jimmy. He's watching to see if it's time to go for dinner. So, yeah, so it is time to go for dinner. Everybody have a good night. Have a good weekend and stay crafty, my friends.